Good morning, my little frittatas. How are you today? So we are on week 5. So today we're going to go over week 5's warm-up. Can you guys believe it's week 5 of school already? Isn't that crazy? It's going fast. So for this week's warm-up, we had some review items from last week, and then we still had another division problem. So let's get started and see how I would work them out and see if you work them out the same way. So these were Monday's problems for the warm-up. Okay, so the first question says to simplify the expression. And when we see a problem that looks like this, we know that we're going to be using order of operations. So if it's helpful to you, you should write PEMDAS up here. Okay? And that way it'll help you remember that, you're going to do parentheses, then exponents, then multiply and divide from left to right, and add and subtract from left to right. All right? So let's start with this problem. Do we have any parentheses? We sure do. Right here I see I've got 5 minus 3. So 5 minus 3 inside the parenthesis is going to give me 2. And I have to remember that this exponent right here is still attached to what's in the parentheses. So I still need to work that out, okay? And remember to bring everything else down and copy clearly so that you don't make any silly mistakes. Okay, I have another exponent over here, and this, parentheses. And this one is 6 minus 2, so that's going to give me 4. And again, there's an exponent attached to it, so I have to remember to attach it still. Okay, so I've done my parentheses. Now I'm going to exponents. So first, I have this exponent, 14 squared, or 14 to the second power. So 14 squared, I know that that's 196, but maybe you don't know that off of the top of your head, so what should you do? Sure, you could use a calculator. Or you could just do a little side math and do 14 times 14. 4 times 4 is 16. Carry 1. 4 times 1 is 1 plus 1 is 56. Add a space, 0 for my space. And then I do 1 times 4 is 4. And 1 times 1 is 1. And then I add the two together and I get 196. Okay, so 196, I bring down my subtraction, and then over here in the parenthesis I have a 2, and the 2 is squared as well. So 2 squared is the same thing as saying 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. And I bring down my addition sign, and then I have a 4 in my in my parentheses. I keep wanting to say the wrong word today. And that 4 is squared as well. So 4 squared is the same thing as saying 4 times 4. So that is 16. And now I simply work from left to right because all I have left is adding and subtracting. So 196 minus 4 is 192. Bring down the 16. All right. And then 92 plus 16 is 208. Okay. Next one. Write the prime factorization. Oh, sorry. Remember to circle or square your answer so that we know what your answer is. Write the prime factorization of the number 144. So last week we talked about prime factorization, and hopefully you took notes like you were supposed to. And if you did, then you know that the strategy we use for finding a prime factorization is, hopefully you just said a factor tree in your head. All right, so we're going to do a factor tree. All right, so I'm going to come over here so I have a little bit more room. I'm going to put my 144 up here. And since it's an even number, I know that 2 goes into 144. And 2 goes into 144 72 times. And remember, I know that my 2 is prime, and I'm going to just focus that a little bit better for you. Hopefully that comes in better. I don't know. Maybe a little bit. Okay. All right, so 2 is prime, so I'm going to circle it. And then I have 72. Now I know I don't have to do anything left on this branch. I'm only working on this branch now. And again, my number is prime, so I know that I can use a 2. 2 goes into 72 36 times. Again, the 2 is, that branch is done. So now I do the 36. Again, it's still even, so I know that I can use a 2. And 2 goes into 36 18 times. And again, over here, I can do 2, and it goes in 9 times. 2 is prime. 9 is still not prime, because remember, a prime number can only be divided by 1 and itself, but there is another number that's a factor of 9. So hopefully you're realizing that it's 3, and 3 is a prime number. So 3 times 3 gives me 9. Okay, so now in order to get my prime factorization, all I have to do is multiply all these numbers. So I write the product. 2 times 2, let's see, so I don't forget, I'll cross them off, times 2 times 2, and then I've got times 3 and times 3. So the solution to my problem is 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 2 to the 4th times 1, 2, 3 squared. All right, so hopefully you got that answer as well. Okay, next, back to division. We've got to keep practicing the division because that's the one that's the hardest for us to get really good at. So we're going to keep practicing it. We've got find the quotient. Remember, quotient means divide. 192 divided by 12. 12 goes into 19 one time. I subtract 12, and that is going to leave me 7. I'm going to bring down my 2. And then 12 goes into 72. 7 times. That gives me 72 and leaves me with nothing. So my answer is 17. All right, hopefully that helped clarify how to do the warm-up this week. Remember, if you practice these strategies all week long, remember just the numbers are changing. The problems are basically the same type of problem. So if you practice these strategies all week long, you should do very well.